nervous for the Rams, but you got to be a little enthusiastic after being there.
Bro, that game atmosphere was ridiculous. The energy, the electricity. That place was rocking. Anyone was there, and a lot of the Super Buck fans were there too. The Bucs.
Tampa Tones. We are joined by lead goon tonight, host of the Pat and Aaron Show of WDAE, Pat Donovan. And it sounds like Stunna is bumbling a little bit. Going to put him on mute for a second until that gets a little clear. But we're joined by Pat Donovan.
It looks like Stunna's hanging out with Cheech and Chong in a car with the windows up or something over there.
It does look like we got a little...
No, my camera's broke.
Howdy, hey. How the hell is everybody? Welcome back into the Buccaneers podcast. Very, very special guest today. A lot of fun topics on our hand. It's always a great time when you have great guests, and we got one of those today. The great Jerry Kieft, father of Buccaneers tight end co. We're going to find out what it's like being an NFL dad, Jerry's journey, so much more fun stuff on our hands today. As I'm a little jealous, Jerry has a nice little background in it, nice little weather out. It's a little doomy and gloomy here in Chicago, so it looks like I got to take my behind to where Jerry is. But without further ado, we're going to go ahead and we'll bring Zach in a minute here. As our guy Nenad is from Serbia, already tuned in. Christopher Cole saying, "Let's go Bucs." Bud Cannibals saying, "Rest in peace, Jim Irsay." Yes, we'll get into that as well. That's very, very tragic and sad. But without further ado, we're going to bring in the man, the myth, the legend himself, the great Jerry Kieft. Jerry,
hey,
how the hell you doing? Thanks for joining the show, brother.
we're doing great, man. I appreciate the time with you all. Look forward to this little bit of time to talk about life and football with you all.
Yeah, that's what we're here to do, my friend. Life, football. I love finding out about, honestly, it's great. Don't get me wrong. The players are awesome, right? But it's really cool finding out about the family. Hey, how do you handle your game days? How do you handle your road trips? What was your journey like being an NFL dad? So
Yeah.
a lot of that stuff is the cool thing to me, Jerry, and I can't wait to talk to you about it. I'm sure you have a lot of fun stuff.
Absolutely. Appreciate it.
Yeah, and I'm a little jealous. I need one of those cigars as well. Zach, how you doing, brother? How are we doing? You were the man, the myth, the legend behind the power of this, so we appreciate you, brother. Zach?
Appreciate that. I just strong-armed Jerry into coming on the show, spending a little time with us. Yeah, can you not hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
We got you, brother. No, sorry about that. No, you're good. Little technical. I think we're a little delayed on your end. It seems like maybe by like a second or two, but we're all good here. So, Jerry, I just want to ask you, when you're watching, obviously, Co on the Grow, we'll put it like that.
Nice.
What's it like? I was actually there in attendance in Cleveland for Co's first career NFL touchdown, which was awesome. And,
That was awesome.
It was a great game. You could hear me on camera. I was just screaming, "Say it ain't so, Co! Say it ain't so." Sadly, from there, the game kind of went off the rails a little. That was the last high moment of that game. But it was a great game. Overtime loss, fun time.
Yeah.
But how was that moment for you? Seeing the first, whether it was on TV, in person, wherever you were, seeing his first NFL touchdown. How was that?
Well, dude, I mean, we were at home because it was a away game. We don't travel to a lot of the away games because it's just we can get into that later. But to watch that and to think I wished I was there live, so to have your video was so cool, and just that say it isn't so cool. That was so cool for us. Catching it from Tom Brady, right? Like he's got the ball yet. First NFL touchdown means a lot, right? As a dad, that's just so cool to see. And it's just, it was fun to watch. And it didn't have the outcome we wanted, but still the same. What a memory to have, right? So,
and honestly,
cool.
those moments, those memories, as great as a win are, don't get me wrong, that's what you strive for. The memories, the little things are, that's why they're memories. That's what you remember. anybody could remember a win from 2022, bring up a random game, but only a handful of people could bring up catching a touchdown pass from Tom Brady.
I guarantee you I sat in moments of silence for probably 30 to 40 seconds of just disbelief, right? Like, holy shit, this just happened. And then it was like an eruption after that. Then it was just like high-fiving people that were at our house, because we do a lot of our away games in our garage where you saw Coach get his draft pick, and we have a lot of people come over to watch away games, and then it was like high-fiving after that. Then it was just like crazy. But the first moments were just like silence of, holy shit, this just happened. This is cool. So
Yeah, and Co's one of those guys. I'm always, well, I know he, big blocker. He still has good hands.
yeah,
I'm always looking for him to get a touchdown in games. I mean, he's always one of those guys that could run a flat real quick at the
yeah,
goal line and surprise
yep,
a lot of defenses out there.
yep, yep. Thank you for that, because I believe in that too. I think he's got great hands. In high school, he didn't play tight end. He was a quarterback and a middle linebacker. So to learn the whole thing in Minnesota, and then at Minnesota, they just used him really primarily as a blocking tight end as well, which he was great at. I mean, he did fabulous. That's what got him in the NFL. So it's his niche. So I get not spurring out of that, but when he gets to catch the ball, he can do it. You give him a chance, and he does a great job with it. So.
Yeah, and I swear I'm not just saying this to fluff him up, but if you do watch our podcast, we have a segment called Bucs Bets where we like to place some money on who's going to score some touchdowns, and just about every week I'm like, throw 5 on Kieft. I'm like, just do it. Like it doesn't hurt. This guy can get a touchdown
Yeah.
any given game. So
That's the thing. I know at least 15 people in our hometown that do an anytime touchdown on every game. I mean, and if it gets it, we're going to make some money.
yeah,
So it's
and the
cool. Yeah.
nice thing about that too is, not to get too far into the gambling weeds here, but when you look at the long shot guys, most of the time it's like, no offense, who the hell's it? A kick return?
Yeah.
Someone where it's like they're not going to score. But when I look at Kieft, it's like,
Yeah.
man, he's been in the end zone before, and they do run patterns where he gets open at
Yeah.
the goal line. And the Bucs are one of those offenses that
Yeah.
never surprise me with what they might
Yeah.
come up with.
Yeah. And mostly, right, when they're in the end zone or in the goal line, they're going to look at a run and then bring Co in, and everybody's thinking run, right? Like, this dude's not going to go out for a pattern. He never does. So I think you're right. I mean, I don't want to get into betting either, but that's what happens, right? So we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Zach, I know you're, not a bettor, which is awesome as well. But I know you were speaking a little bit about Kieft's experience being quarterback in his high school days. So, what say you about that, Zach? Zach,
Zach.
I think we got a little lag going on here. We'll get Zach in. J-Lo, we're gonna try bringing you in here, brother.
Yeah, I'm
J-Lo,
gonna.
can you hear us?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. We're live with Mr. Jerry Kieft, father of Bucs tight end Kieft. You got any good questions for him right now?
Well, first and foremost, thank you for coming on, and congratulations to your son.
Thank you.
Going
Thank
into
you.
year 3 of the NFL, it's just
Yeah.
incredible. I ain't gonna lie, I had no idea who he was until he got drafted. So I did my research. So please don't take it personal. I had no idea. So I'm like, who is this guy? So I'm like, oh snap, okay, bet.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
for the most part, he's very intriguing to watch out there. He's a big guy. I've seen him up close a couple times at training camp, and I'm like, holy smokes! No wonder why they drafted this kid. This kid's huge.
Yeah.
But for the most part, so let me ask you this: what's it like, seeing your son going out there, balling out, just going out there and just making the team every year, making those key blocks? What are you thinking here? Like, what's on your mind? Your son being an NFL tight end.
Yeah. So first of all, I think that's one of the things that is probably the hardest for me is he is a grinder, and he's not a superstar, right? Like, he's not the quote unquote number one tight end. So he's got to grind every year. and that cat's just got to go hard every year, and that's what he is. I coached high school football through his life. Really, I think he was a ball boy for us at 5 years old, and watched football. By the time he was a senior in high school, right, he was telling us as coaches what we had to do. He just knew football. Smart kid, but he's a grinder. He started lifting weights when he was in sixth grade. He'd come in with me at 5 o'clock in the mornings during the summer times when we were lifting. Loves the weight room. That's what he does today. He's loves that kind of stuff, and he just goes out and gives his heart. And I think that's that. The old saying is lunch pail guy, right? That's just who he is. He's going to go out and give his best every day, and so to watch him get to where he's at today, incredible. Never expected it. Just like you guys, like I didn't know who Kokiv was. I think a lot of people had that. I think that's just where it was at with him. And his challenge in life every day is I'll prove you wrong. I'm going to come out and show you what I got. And I think this year is going to be the same thing. You know, he's going to come out and give his best for the Buccaneers. He loves the team. He loves everybody on the team. Loves where he's at, and wants to be give me my role, and I'm going to do it to the best of my ability, and that's who he is. So very proud of the kid. That's as a dad, right? I mean, how do you not be proud of something that he is? So.
Think about it. Before we let Zach jump in here, looks like we got Zach ready to roll on prime time. We expedited the internet bills and we got that cleared up, so we're good to go now. We're clear here, but we're live with the great Bucs by 30. J-Lo, Jerry Kieft, father of Co Kieft. And real quick before we do hand it over to Zach, we got the great Christopher asking a question. Olivia saying, "Hey everyone," but Jerry, this one's for you. How did you keep him motivated as a kid to keep grinding? Ask our listener.
Didn't have to. I did not have to. I gave him the opportunity because I had it for him as a coach. And it wasn't just football, guys. It was track. It was wrestling. He went after everything. School, went after school. I did not have to get on this kid's butt for anything. He wanted to be the best at what he did. And that was even with school. I mean, smart kid. Want to have good grades. I didn't have to motivate this kid at all. He wanted it. Like I'd never thought he'd get into the Big Ten. You know, we wanted him to hopefully get a scholarship in college that would pay for his college, and he wanted to be a doctor. His older brother's a doctor. That's what he wanted to be. And so that was the main goal, and he got that goal right away with FBS schools. And then Big Ten Minnesota came in on him, and he's like, I want to play Big Ten. That was a bigger goal, and reached that, and got out of that, and I was like, what are you going to do? And he's like, I might as well give the NFL a shot, see what we got, and put his name in the draft, and boom, gets it, right? So just like crazy stuff. It's all on him. Mom and I had nothing to do with it. The kid was just a grinder since day one, to be honest with you. So
I'll tell you what, man, Gruden grinder, we called those type of guys, right? No, that's what he is right there. And that's what I love. And not to get too peachy keen, but that, I obviously love Evans and Godwin. I got their names up in the back, but no, I got a guy like Funderburk back here. I like the guys who have fun journeys, who know, they're not first, second, third round picks, but they're stars in the lights. I love the journey. To me, that's half the fun. Half the battle, and that's how you find favorite players. I know Zach knows that as well, ain't that right? That's why we're Co-Kieft guys, right, Zach?
Absolutely. Sorry for the technical issues. I got a new laptop to try to do this not on my phone and end up back on my phone. So,
well, I swear it was working.
Zach's making money, man. He's getting new computers and stuff.
Yeah. The hustle's real, Jerry. I sold a jersey to buy a computer, man. And
You're looking for a
So,
Kieft jersey, aren't you, buddy?
yeah, always
Yeah.
on the prowl, man. Always.
Love it.
The hustle doesn't end, man. It's 24/7 for us in the trenches here. So,
Yeah, gotcha.
um, but you guys touch on a lot of good things that I kind of had in my questions here. But just circling back to your time as a high school coach, I hear there's a story about a 4-year-old Co and
Yeah,
a garbage can. You
yeah.
want to
Oh,
give us
God,
a little?
yeah, yeah. I think he talks about the story as well. He doesn't remember it like I do, but yeah, we used to have garbage cans that we put out because we ran a 35 defense, and I was defensive of coach, and along with the quarterback coach. But um, his we had garbage cans that they do fits with, right? So they had to run through your fits, so everybody knew what was going on. And his job was to pick these garbage cans up and bring them to the sideline or bring them out and put them on the field as we were going. And he notoriously every time put a garbage can on his head and start walking around and just get lost, right? And I think the story, as the story goes, I was talking to the head football coach. He goes, "Yeah, there's my son. I don't think we're ever going to see him play football. Just like out there in left field somewhere, you know." But he proved us wrong. Like I said, that's just what my kid does. He proves us wrong all the time.
There you go.
So
There you go.
yeah,
So if you want your kids to grow up and be in the NFL, put a garbage can on their head at 4 years old. Leads to the
yep,
NFL, right?
yep. Just thought it was fun and thought it was goofy. Yep, that's just who he was. So
There
yeah,
you go.
This is
There you
yeah,
funny.
go.
Co was a garbage pelkid. That's
yeah,
what we got right there from Bud Cannibalist. David joining in. I'm late. We're talking about the great Jerry Kiefter, NFL father, been through the journey, been through the trenches. So, Jerry, I do, before Zach taps back in, or J-Lo, feel
yeah,
free whenever, J-Lo, but I do want to ask you this. What's it like? You get the cliche. Me, Zach, J-Lo, we're not co. So our
yeah,
top is Little League. We're used to the moms hanging out with the moms, the dads hanging
yeah,
out with the dads, kids being kids. How
yeah.
is it being an NFL dad? Like, what's your game day routine if you're at the game? Do you try and hang with other dads? Or are you kind of just with the family chilling, nervous?
Yeah.
What's your thing?
Yeah. All the above, I think when Co went to Minnesota, we used to put on a huge tailgate. We'd have 200, 300 people come to our tailgates, and
Wow.
that was we had all the food, all the booze, everything for everybody, and people just if they felt so, they'd give us some money, but for the most part, we just did it out of our hearts. Football is about family, you know, and I learned that as a coach. Like, we just want to be family. And so I feel the same way with the NFL. It's a little bit different in the NFL because obviously we fly in, we don't drive in, we don't have a trailer anymore. So it's a little bit harder for us to put on a tailgate. But we do hang out with the Mocs. We hang out with the Godekis. Um, other families that are hanging out where we get a park at, and kind of made it a tradition that we go out and do that. But it's it, it's just fun to get to know people. So when you go into the stadium, we sit by a lot of the families as well. Most families sit different places. Obviously, I don't get into Tristan Wirf's suite, um, you know, or Baker Mayfield's suite, but we have our own little places that we get to go, and um, it it's great. I mean, I think every family that you meet in the NFL, and not to toot my own horn here at all, but I'm just saying other people, so great. Parents are so great. They raise good kids to be in the NFL. I don't think people honestly get this, but I think most kids don't have the great talent that you talk of. They come from good families to work hard and have the ethic to do what they do and want to be the best that they can be. And I think that's what you mostly see in the NFL families is hardworking, great people, want to love on people, want to be together. Our kids play together, so let's get together. My kid likes your kid, so let's like each other, right? Like, let's get together. And that's what's cool about it. I think, and that was true in college as well. But in NFL, that's you just don't see that, right? I don't know what to expect. I didn't know what to expect,
Eh,
so
that-
it's just good to see.
That's incredible, and I think you make a great point. College, NFL, college is special. College, especially Big Ten football. I mean, you
Mhm.
never get cheated on Saturdays. Well, now
Right,
Fridays as well. You know,
right,
Fridays or Saturdays, and
yeah,
you make it to the NFL, and knowing that your guys'
yeah,
kids are like the top 0.1% in the
yeah,
world at what
yeah,
they do, it, and not only that, they worked their ass off to get to where
yeah,
they are. Right? I think you
yeah,
hit the nail on the head. Not only
yeah,
do they have to work hard, but they also have to be raised right because
yeah,
half the battle is showing up early, leaving
yeah,
late, putting
yeah,
in that extra mile, just like
yeah,
Zach does with his jersey collecting, right, Zach?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think
Right,
we're in the
Zach.
same. We're not in the same arenas at all, fellas.
Um, I think you are. I think
Yeah.
everybody's in that same arena. Honestly, we give a lot of NFL people credit, but to be good at what you do, to be good at who you are, to be good at a podcast, you got to put the time and effort in, right?
Right.
Like
Absolutely.
that's what it takes. And I just think you want to be good at what you do, whatever you do, you need to put the time and effort into it. And that's what these kids have learned through their parents, whatever they did, right?
Right.
We raise cattle, go watch hardworking people go after it. And I made sure he's around them. I made sure he's around those people that worked hard and gave somebody a firm handshake and looked people in the eyes. And when they did that, say, "My name is Co. What's your name?" And that, he learned that at 5 years old. And I think that's key to successful life, whatever you are in life. And not to get weird, but I also will say this. I want to say this about the people that we meet at. I'm gonna have to move probably because I'm seeing my neighbor come to mow his lawn, and it will get loud. Um, Jason Light's culture that he talks about, right, on
Right.
McAfee show. I see it daily.
Yeah, it's a real thing, right?
It's a real thing, and I
Yeah.
don't know if people get that, but his culture is real, and
Some of
that's
us
what he wants.
some of us old heads that have been around the Bucks a long time, been fans of can tell the difference in Jason Light culture and pre
Hmm.
Jason Light culture. And it's a
Yeah,
real thing and you can see it, you
yeah,
can see it.
yeah. Yeah, he's getting the guys that had the right personality,
Yeah.
right? And the
100%.
families are there with it, So
Right.
that's what's cool. Yeah.
And I
So
think as a football fan, you could appreciate that, right? The morphing of the team, getting those solid soldiers on the battlefield. I think that's what we really wanted. I mean, winning's great too, but loving the players is
yeah,
what's awesome. And Co's one of those guys who
yeah,
goes out there, gives us it all, never takes plays off, is the nitty gritty. Like you said,
yep,
big package coming in. You see Co, you see Vita Vea at times coming in. You know it's
yeah,
going to get tough and physical down there.
yep,
Those are the
yep,
things Bucks fans love.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yep. Agreed. And whatever it is, whatever they're asked of to do, and I don't care who it is, Mike Evans. Let's talk about Mike Evans, right? Like he will do what he's asked to do.
Right.
And that's the culture, right? What's Jason say? The man in the
Right.
draft.
Yep.
It's true. I
Yep.
believe that to be very true about
I
how
am that
they
man.
draft their people.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah,
So before we get too far away from college, Jerry,
yeah.
can you tell us a little bit about, and for those of people that haven't experienced, what it's like to go through the recruiting process with your son? Because there's a lot of ups and downs, and
Yeah,
successes and not successes in that process. So can you just tell us a little bit about what that's like?
That's a great question.
yeah. That is a great question, and there are a lot of ups and downs, and there are in the NFL too, right? It's a very emotional up and down thing. Every year this year, it's like we're going to make the team, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Um, but I think, like I said earlier, we wanted him to get his education. That was the foremost. It wasn't football. It's like get your education, but get it paid for if you can, right? And so he committed to NDSU, where Cody Mott came from. Cody and him would have been teammates back in the day. A couple of redheads up there at North Dakota.
Yeah.
But late late in the season, Minnesota came in on Co. And I'll never forget my son being 17 years old and calling Tyler Roll, who's now the running back coach at Iowa State. And after he had committed to NDSU, saying, I'm going to go to Minnesota. And the kid just wept because he's let somebody down, right?
Mm,
And so a lot of emotions at 17, 18 that you walk through. But it also tells you the character of my son. Like, he cared about those guys. They offered him. He said yes. And it was a hard battle for him for 2 years or two days to, am I going to say yes to Minnesota? It's my dream to be Big Ten. Iowa offered him as a gray shirt. If you remember back in the day, if you guys know these two, but Hawkinson at the Lions and Font at Seattle were in
Mm-hmm.
his class at Iowa. So they picked those two guys first, rightfully so. I will say that, rightfully so. But Co was like third for him, and they wanted to gray shirt him, and he's like, no, I'm going to go to NDSU's because I can get my college paid for,
right.
and that's where he was at. So that's again, credit to him. This is what's first is my education. And then all of a sudden Minnesota came in, and then they offered him, and he's like, I got to take it, Dad. It's Big Ten. It's what I want to do. It's my dream. And I said, all right, but you got to call Coach Roll and let him know. And it took him a little bit. I know he went into his bedroom for a long time by himself. I don't know what he's doing in there, but he came out, tears in his eyes, and just like, I I let him down, but I gotta do what I gotta do.
Right.
So yeah, lots of ups and downs with that. Lots of I mean, he started with D3 teams offering him, and then going up to FBS, then Big Ten, and I think Iowa State also was going to offer him. And there was a coach there that what was his name? Rhodes was the uh, coach then. They were going to offer him on Monday. We had to go up on Monday, and Sunday they fired him.
Mm.
Cool.
And yeah, so he didn't get that offer. Otherwise, he probably would have went to Iowa State. But yeah, went up to Minnesota instead. So
And nothing wrong with some Big Ten football in Minnesota as well. They've
yeah,
been turning the corner, and the Bucs have been liking their Minnesota guys as well. You had Tyler Johnson, you had Antoine Winfield Jr., Kieft. So you had the little gopher tree
yeah,
as well.
right,
So that's kind of cool stuff.
yeah, yeah, no, yeah, for sure. Um, and Coe and Winfield knew each other, but Winfield left pretty early from Minnesota. Coe did the acceleration program and um, got redshirted. Winfield didn't, and then they had COVID year, and Winfield left that year. So Coe did a 6-year acceleration program at Minnesota versus Winfield. I think he came out in 3 years or something like that. So
That is incredible to be honest.
yeah.
And hey, why not these days though? College athletes have it honestly as better as they've ever had it nowadays. So,
Well, they
if
didn't have the NIL back then, but good,
true.
goodness,
Yeah.
goodness, what them kids
Yeah.
can make today is crazy. That's
Yeah,
crazy. It's a
I
whole
for
nother lift.
Co missed it by probably a good year. He probably missed it by a good year. His the
Yeah,
NIL, the beginnings of it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. He missed it by, but Cole will tell you too. I don't think. Again, you got to ask him, but I don't think he's in favor of it. I think he felt he got paid by having free school, and they did have money for him. I think he was like $900 or something a month that they got to live off of, or something like that. They just called it beer money back then, you
Yeah.
know. Now,
Yeah.
That
now
yeah.
it's like buy a Lamborghini money, you know. So
Right. Yeah.
yeah,
Who,
it's a way different
Julio
game.
Jones. Julio
Yeah,
Jones showing up to Alabama with a sports car in his driveway,
yeah,
pre NIL even. But hey, what can you do? I guess that's Julio Jones. But J Lo, before I get you in you've been quiet, my friend, rightfully so. But I want to ask about this fun Co's name. Quick, it says it's from his grandfather who came in from the Netherlands. That's pretty awesome stuff. Is it's
yeah.
from Jacobus? It says. Do I have that right?
Jacobus. Yeah, Jacobus is my dad's name when he lived in Holland. My dad lived through World War II in Holland. So Germany, they had an underground, Jewish underground in his house, and they had German tanks in their yards. My dad grew up very poor. My dad came here when he was 18 because his Grandpa Co's great grandpa, told him to get out of Holland because it was destroyed. Um, my dad's job was to make baby coffins as a carpenter's apprentice.
Hmm.
So when he came across the pond, he never saw his mom and dad again.
Hmm.
And so his name was Jake when he came here, but my grandpa was Jacobus, Co's great grandpa, and it was spelled Jakobus. And so when Co was born, I wanted to just honor my dad, honor my grandpa, and we named him Co. So a lot of people think it's knockout, but it's not. It's really Jacobus.
Th-
But
That's
he
a great
passed.
name to cheer for too. Like I can
That,
say it ain't Coco or go
Yeah.
go. You
but
know, you can do
that
whatever.
saying is so embedded in my head, dude. I mean, that was the greatest video I could ever watch. Say it isn't SoCo. Say it isn't SoCo. And you called it out before the play happened. That was
Yeah.
so cool. That was
I
so
was just
cool.
so happy for Co himself and obviously for the Bucks, but I knew what was coming. I knew that was his first touchdown. I was like, "Let's go, Co! This is
That was
awesome." And I'm
so
glad you
cool.
love that video because I
Yeah.
just put it
Oh,
out there like, "Man, I gotta show people." The
yeah.
reactions of the Bucks
Yeah.
fans there were like,
Yeah.
"Yeah,
I'll play it on repeat, dude. I play it on repeat because it's the greatest thing I've seen. I watched him get drafted, which is incredible, right? But that play was probably my favorite, honestly.
Yeah.
Zach,
Well, now
Zach,
that
go
you
ahead."
Yeah, I was going to say, now that you brought that up, we've all seen that video of draft night. You're in the garage, and
Yeah.
I'd like you to talk a little bit about that. But I watched it again today just to refresh it, and there's
Yeah.
just a second, because the camera's on Co most of the time. But there's a
Yeah.
second it pans over just to the left,
Yeah.
and it appears, Jerry, that you're doing some sort of a jig. Can you
Yeah.
confirm that, or?
Yeah. It was called the fat ass jig. I think that's what they call it. Cole was trying to keep me quiet during the whole thing because I knew it was Tampa Bay. I knew it was Bulls. And I'm just like, come on, man, tell me what it is. Because he wanted us to be quiet. I mean, there was a whole rehearsal. Honestly, he had his his high school coaches, so his wrestling coach, his track coach, his football coaches, some of his dear friends, and then mom and I and his sister that were there. There was no college friends there, just high school, just Sioux Center people. And so we did this whole, it might happen, it might not, but we knew he was going to get phone calls. And his agent, Neil Cornrich is his agent, told him, dude, when people call you and they're gonna try to just talk to you about what's going on and what they want from you, and when they call, just say, hey, I got another phone call coming in, and hang up on them because you don't want to be on the line too long with them. It's like I got somebody else calling me, so like play this game. And I think it was 30 seconds before Jason called him up that the Vikings called, and they said to him, "We're going to get you in round 7," and this was during round 6. "We're going to get you in round 7. We want you." The 49ers want him really bad as undrafted, and probably 6 other teams want him undrafted. And but the Vikings said, "We're going to get you in round 7." And then we're sitting there, and he came up to me after that phone call from the Vikings. He said, "Vikings round 7, they want me."
Mhm.
And he sat back down. Within 30 seconds, he sat back down. Jason called him, and they moved up from 7 to 6 to get him.
Yeah,
So yeah, it was like freaking crazy. Like you
yeah,
see it in the video. He raises his hand like
yeah,
this. That was practice. Like if I get the call, my hand's going up. Everybody shut up, so I can
yeah.
hear what's going on. So I can hear the coach talk to me, right? And
Right.
the hand went up, and everybody, you saw it. Everybody just got quiet. It's like, holy shit, it's going down. This is happening. So
Yeah.
When
yeah, I got tears in my eyes right now.
Yeah.
I mean,
That moment's electric, isn't it? And it's like
gosh, don't know
you
how
just
to
get
describe it.
Yeah, it's crazy. And I don't think something that most people don't realize, and I noticed this when I was at my nephew's, they get that call several picks before the pick actually comes on the
Yeah.
television, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So he gets the call, and they're probably like
Yeah.
on, I don't know, say maybe the Cardinals, and you're like, well, it's got to be
Yeah.
Arizona. They're on the clock, but
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
not. And then the next
Yeah.
pick comes, and it's the same thing. So,
Yeah.
um,
Especially in the 6th round, right?
yeah,
Zach, I mean, your nephew went a little quicker than that, but in 6th round, I think we had to wait like 6 picks to see him on TV, and we didn't even know if we'd see him on TV because they just go through it so fast, right?
right.
So, yeah, yeah, yeah.
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 So,
Speaking of your nephew, right? Like, how cool is that?
yeah, it's something. It's not
What
the
are they
same
going
as
to do for a
being.
quarterback? What are they going to do? What are they going to do? Come on.
I think they're going to roll with Will Howard, man. I think that's the smart play.
All
I
right.
don't want to see him bring in Rodgers at this point. Rudolph's not been impressive in his time, so let's see what the kid can do. And you know what? Maybe Pittsburgh fans have been clamoring for a either bad enough season to get a higher draft pick or a good enough season to go far in the playoffs. So this year they might get their wish and be bad enough to get that good draft pick.
I hate to deter from our Buccaneers, but Tomlin he will never go down for the ship. He is going to be the best he can be. So
Yep.
I don't think he takes it for a draft. He's going to go
I
after
don't
it.
either.
And
I think that's the same.
that's why nothing against him, as we are joined by NFL dad Jerry Kieft, the great Jerry, sharing his journey, his times as an NFL dad, his journey all along the way, his times as a coach. It's been fun stuff. But I think Will Howard could start eventually. I just can't imagine Pittsburgh going into the season with him under center. I do think he has what it takes, but man, that's a big commitment putting into his 6th-round pick right off the get-go. Nothing against him. We've seen quarterbacks come later and have more success, right? But we got a Jerry chant going from our guy. We get texted in from Pops saying, this guy's a class act. This is awesome. So Pops texting into the show. J-Lo, you've been quiet. Have you been texting, brother? Any questions for our guy here?
No, I must say, man, just all these great stories you're bringing up from him being drafted, being with the family. Just what a great moment, man.
Yeah.
That's always one thing you want any children to see. When you have kids, I'm pretty sure Zach knows what I'm talking about when it comes to parenting. Seeing your kid be so successful, accomplishing their dreams for the most part. But I will ask you this, how has he adjusted to the heat pretty well? 'Cause I'm pretty sure when he first got here, it was pretty rough for him when he got down here in Tampa. Because it's
You just
pretty
asking
much.
because you're asking because he's a redhead, or what are you asking?
No. No, I'm just saying, like, it'd be hot down here in the oven, and I'm pretty sure when he was up in Minnesota playing in much colder weather. How was it like at first? That first day of training camp when you had that conversation with him.
Yeah.
That's what I like to hear.
Yeah, I just preach sunscreen to that kid. But you also got to know why, because my dad and my brother died from melanoma for skin cancer.
Oh,
Sorry for your loss, man.
Neither one.
sorry.
Yeah, thank you. But neither one were redheads either. We don't have redheaded kids. I got a blonde, a brunette, and a redhead. So I'm pretty sure there's a milkman and a postman and that kind of stuff.
Boy, Linda is not gonna like hearing that, Jerry.
Oh Lord.
She's sitting right across from me. She's shaking her head.
Oh my goodness, that's awesome.
Someone's sleeping in the garage tonight.
Right. Exactly. But I think he'd have to answer that for you more than me. But the heat was a big thing. But I think he's adjusted well to it. He would much rather be in cold weather. He likes the cold a lot better, just because that's how he grew up. But he's adjusted very well to the heat, and I think he actually kind of likes it right now today. So.
Good.
Well, it's a good way to drop some weight, that's for sure. I mean, if you're going to drop some poundage, just go to training camp and you'll drop at least a good 20 easily. I mean, living here in Tampa area, it gets very hot. I mean, just going to Disney the other day, taking my daughter, I was sweating my butt off. I kept going to the bathroom like 4 or 5 times, like rinsing my head, soaking cold water in my neck. So, shout out to that. It's never easy.
Yeah, hell, I went to a practice one time in August last year. And I probably dropped 20 pounds in that practice. And I was just standing looking for shade somewhere, and he couldn't find it anyway.
My first time there, and I've been to training camp in July and all the, and it was hot there too. But I thought it'd be a good idea of my first time seeing Tom Brady because COVID happened and they were tickets were so expensive. Yeah, they let in a like fraction of the teams, but fans in the stands, but not a lot. So I waited till the year after COVID just because tickets were crazy.
Yeah.
So me and my fiance went to Bucs Titans preseason in August in Tampa. Beautiful time, but A, not only did Brady not play, B, I was sweating my ass off, man. I was like, it felt like I showered out there. Not got clean, but showered.
Well, just you guys, they just put up with shit like August, September, October. It's still hot down there. I mean, and if you get used to acclimated to that, to play a team that's from the north, let's just say Green Bay, I mean, shit, they die. I mean, they can't play in that stuff. But same goes for us when we go north in the wintertime, right? Like then all of a sudden we're cold, and so yeah, it is what it is. They got to deal with what they deal with. Part of life, right? I mean, no complaining. Let's not complain about it. Let's just deal with it.
I remember the great Donovan McNabb coming here and absolutely yakking all over the football field one time because obviously.
Oh man, I was there at that game. I was there, Tones. That was fantastic. But keep going.
Yeah, that was obviously when Matt Bryant hit the game-winning 62-yard field goal and longest one in Bucs history. But you just see McNabb letting it all go on the field, and hey, it happens. It happens. But we have a question from our guy Richard T for the man of the hour, Mr. Kieft. Jerry, Jerry was the moment when was the first moment Co can go to the NFL? Was it a certain play? If no one asked, but
Oh no!
Did we lose Jerry?
Jerry, you there?
We'll try bringing him back. We'll see what's going on. But hey, this has been a lot of fun so far, Zach, hasn't it?
Yeah, been a good time. I wish I could actually use the setup that I purchased, but other than that,
what annoys me is it works so good in the practice session.
Right. Like I got it back up. I think it might work, but I'm afraid to switch over.
One of two things had to happen. Either Jerry probably had a minor internet issue and timed out, or maybe a phone died. One of the two could have happened. So either way, we'll give it about 5 minutes, see if he hops back on or whatnot. But while we're here, here we do have the man of the hour, Mr. Jerry.
There he is. Hey.
Sorry about that, guys.
No, you're doing good.
What was the dude asking my question about?
Question for Mr. Kieft, if no one asked, what was the moment you knew Co can go to the NFL? Was it a certain play?
I still wonder if he can make it.
That's not right, man.
No, there's no certain play at all. I've always believed in my kid. But I've always sold him short as well, just like I said, because I think it motivated him. I didn't know if he could make it. I didn't know if he could be drafted. When he went to the Big Ten, I just hoped he played special teams. When he made the team and started playing, it was just like, oh my gosh. And when I didn't know if he'd get drafted, and he got drafted, and it was like, okay, can we make the team? And now each year is kind of the same way, right? Like, can he keep doing what he's doing?
Right.
He's a bubble guy, right? He's not Mike Evans. He's a bubble guy. So every year is another year for him, and he's got to live life like that. And that's the mental thing for him, And he does great with it. He just does great with it. I think one of the things as often is I'll do my best and I'll let God do the rest, and that's what it takes. So nothing, I don't want to sound like a weirdo on that or downer on him, but I think that's just who he's always been. Just that's who he is, right? So if that makes sense to y'all.
It makes
Absolutely.
perfect sense, and I love that. But the great thing that Co could always know and believe in is, and this isn't a knock on pass catching tight ends, but everybody nowadays can be a pass catching tight end, right? Not everybody can be an effective blocking tight end. So, it's a niche position that's not easy to come by in the NFL, and you're always needed. You're always needed for goal line packages. You're always needed for short yardage packages. So, as much as the bubble guy he might be, I believe it's also a very good thing
Yeah.
too, because he brings skills to the table that not a lot of NFL tight ends in 2025 could.
Yeah,
Yeah. Agreed 100%. Agreed 100% on that. Like,
absolutely. You need those
that's
guys, right? You need
and,
those lunch
and
pail guys to be
yeah.
successful, So
Yeah.
it's a pleasure having them, right? And
And,
it's a good.
it's hard. It's hard because everybody wants that. Everybody wants that great tight end. Everybody wants that great, receiver. Everybody wants that great quarterback. And if you're not that great person, you don't have a lot of fanfare all the time, But
Mhm.
to grind what you do and get past that noise, right? Because that's a mental noise that you got to deal with.
Right.
You get past that and you go after it, And that's my son. That's who
Right.
he is. Like, I don't care what people say. I am who I am, and I will be me, and I will go after it the best I can.
Love that. Love
But
that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I read that one of Linda's favorite things to say is when you walk out of the door, you work hard, you treat people right, and you be kind to people. And
Yeah.
Co's definitely taken that advice to heart. So, what other advice did you provide to him when you sent him down to Tampa to be an NFL player?
Be you. Just be you, right? Like, you've gotten this far. Don't be somebody you're not. Don't let the fame, don't let the money mess with your head. Be you. And Linda's saying is you can't go wrong by treating people right.
There you go.
And yeah, and I think that's her mantra. It's our mantra as a family. If you just treat people right and you get to know people, you have a social network, and be kind to those because you don't know what's going to happen. It's not what you know; it's who you know in the world today that gets you where you need to be. So hang out with the right people, hang out with good people, hang out with people that want to get you, that want to see you succeed, and that's what's crazy because most people don't want to see people succeed.
mm,
Um, we're just notorious for one
mm, mm, well,
him, and I might
Yeah,
be the only dude that wants you to do that, you know, which is too bad for our society today. But yeah, that's why I appreciate you guys, right? Like, I love people that love the grinders. I love people that want to see them grind out and make the team because you get what it takes to be a team that way. And I
absolutely.
think I think the Buccaneers understand that to a full hilt. Jason and his culture.
Yeah.
and that's why going into this year's draft, the Bucs were a big question mark. What will they take? I thought it would be 5 out of 6 defense, especially, but you didn't hear
Yeah,
it often. But when a couple people tried to sneak a tight end in there early, I go, we
yeah,
have 4 younger. We have a
yeah.
good tight end. We do not need a tight end. You got Otten, you got Durham, you got Kieft, you got Devin Culp. Why
Yeah.
would you need? And
You
then
got
nothing
Tua. You
against.
got Tua. Tua's a heck of a kid.
Yeah.
I don't know if you
Yeah.
guys know him very well, but a
Yep.
great kid. But all of
Uh,
them kids that you just named are great. Great
he
people.
Yeah.
the big guy actually follows me on X, so that's pretty cool. We shot some because he went to college around here. He went to
That's
Illinois
awesome.
State. Yeah,
Yeah.
he went to Illinois. So
Yeah.
we shot him messages a couple times. But the Bucks
Yeah.
tight end room always runs deep, and it's
Yeah.
one of those things where you have 4 tight ends, all very different people, all very different tight end personnels, and all are
Yeah.
great in one tight end room. So I hope this is the Bucks tight end room for years and years to come. And as I said, I
Agree.
love the background, quote unquote background guys, right? I love the cats that don't
Yeah.
bring a lot of noise. I love like
Yeah.
even going to games, man. I'm always the one in a quote unquote rare jersey. I'm always the one buying the jerseys that not a lot of people buy, and they're like, why do you do that? I'm like, because I'm a fan. I don't care if I'm a fan. I don't care if everyone has this jersey. You see a million people. Nothing against it. I have a Mike Evans jersey, but you see a million Mike Evans jerseys. It's like I want to be a fan of the guys that are relatable. And speaking of relatable, just how is it? The other dads of the team. What are your guys' go-to bourbon? That's a fun one from Tony. Do you have a bourbon at all, Jerry? Do you have a go-to bourbon? Any of the dads have a go-to bourbon?
I had a buddy of mine actually last night, so we'll talk about family and football. There's a guy from Minnesota Football Gophers that his son played left tackle by the name of Sam Sluter, and he got with the Jets and the 49ers and the Vikings. He's not in the league today, but his dad came down to visit because we got so close, and he brought down some Four Roses last night, so we had a few of those last night together. But I'm a whiskey guy, to be honest with you. I'm a Canadian whiskey guy. Not that big of a fan of bourbon. So sorry about that. If you're a bourbon fan,
at least you're in the family tree. You're right there.
Yeah.
You're just a brother away, Canadian or bourbon. It's like a relative, the uncle. So
yeah,
that's fun stuff right there. But hey,
Yeah.
whatever you drink and have your fun with, that's awesome. We are here with Jerry Kieft, NFL dad on the Buccaneers. You guys are watching live on YouTube, Facebook. You could catch the instant replay on Apple, Spotify, Google. We're joined by J-Lo and Bucs by 30, Mr. Zach himself. Zach,
my friend.
yeah. Zach is a
appreciate
friend
that,
of
Jerry.
everybody. That's why how you were saying earlier, Jerry, you surround yourself with the good people. I met Zach. I've known Zach longer than when I met him in person, but the day I met him, I'm like, man, this is a good guy right here. I'm like, he's the good one to keep yourself surrounded with. Same with J-Lo. So I surround with good people that believe in you,
Good for you. Yeah.
Thanks,
Hold
sir.
on. I need to yell for my wife to come down here to hear you guys talking about me in this good light. So hold on. I appreciate that, fellas.
Hey, the way she's talking in the fantasy chat, I don't know about that.
Yeah, she's rough, man. She keeps me in line.
Hey, one of us have to get Keeft in fantasy this year. We'll call it a bet. We'll give him that. But J-Lo, any last comments, question, concerns for Jerry? Not that we're running out of here, but we'll start getting into the closing. So J-Lo, you got any thoughts on your mind, my friend?
Jerry, any plans on coming down to Tampa to catch a couple of Bucs games at all?
That's a good question.
Yeah, great question. Linda and I try to come down to every home game. That's kind of our role as an NFL. When Co played in college, we went to every game because you could travel by pickup.
That's nice.
Now it's like you got to fly everywhere, and we also got to fly to Florida. And I don't know how to say this, but if you're listening, if he would just pay for my plane trips, I'd probably go to everything.
Nice.
He's not giving back to me, but anyway, we go to the home games because we can stay with him. So we get to go on a Friday and go out for dinner with him on Friday night, and then Saturday he disappears until Sunday after the game, and then we get to rejoin him for Saturday night. If it's not a Sunday night game, then we get to kind of hang out with him again, and then we fly out Monday. You go to a away game, and we went to Kansas City this year, and we went to Dallas this year, and that's Zach and I hooked up in Kansas City.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get to see him, but maybe 10 minutes after the game, right? Co's never been a dude that wants to see me before the game. He zones in. He zones in on Saturday. I don't want to see people. I don't want to talk to people. I got a game to do, and I appreciate that about him. He's been that way since college. We never saw him before a game at Minnesota either. But after the game, then he wants to hang. So it's nice we can see him on Friday, but you go to a away game, you just don't get to see him. When I go to home games, I can stay with them, a little cheaper for me, right? So we try to hit every home game that we can. If they make playoffs, which they will this year, and I'm hoping I get some Super Bowl tickets from them this year.
There you go.
We're gonna go to all that stuff this year, right? So playoff
Awesome.
games will hit. Yeah, and
Yeah.
look forward to a Super Bowl ticket this year.
Worst thing about that would be that you got to go to that shithole of a city of New Orleans to watch it.
Unfortunately, yeah.
that
Stay
is
away
a
from Bourbon
shithole.
Street. At the whole nother level, Jerry.
Yep.
It is a shithole. I've been there a couple times. It is a shithole, but I will gladly go with a smile on my face if
Yeah.
we can make it. So yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah, and I think you mentioned a couple good things. Tampa, never a bad place to go, right? And it's always nice out there, but it's great to just be in that weather. So you having a little escape. Do you have any favorite spots in Tampa, whether it's eating or activities to do? What do you like to do, or what are your favorite spots around the Tampa area?
If I gave you a full body picture, you will see I love to eat. So that's one of my favorite things to do, and drink, of course. But I think as far as Tampa goes, we're looking forward to this year. We got a Sunday night game and a Thursday night game that are home, so we're going to spend a week there, and we'll go to the beach. We'll get a place on the beach for that. So we like to go to John's Pass is where we go, Madeira Beach.
That's a great beach, by the way.
We got some friends there that own a condo there, or a condo. So we usually get to stay there when we go there. So shout out to Brad, Jay for that. Good friends from Minnesota Gopher stuff. We got a buddy from also from Minnesota that's down there as a realtor, Ryan Snyders, who picks us up from every airport, brings us around, drives us to places, does stuff. So, I mean, just great people down there in Tampa. But I would say the bar we go to the most, or place we hang out, is Miller's Ale, right there by
Yep.
the stadium.
That's another good one.
Yeah, Cola is really close right now today to that. So it's kind of like a hop, skip, and a jump for us. So that's kind of nice to go to. But yeah, other than that, we skip anywhere. We stay out of the stripper club, though.
That's for the opposing teams, right? The opposing dads, the
Yeah.
opposing teams. They
There's
always.
a lot of them down. There's a lot of them down that boulevard.
Oh man, it's like you think you
Crazy.
see your gas stations on the corner. Wait till you go to a Tampa, Dale Mabry. You get strip clubs left and right, or other
It's
massage
nuts.
parlors probably. So
It is nuts. But anyway,
Yeah.
we stay out of that stuff. But
I do want to mention too. I think it's cool before we get Zach in here again, but you mentioned Co likes to, hey, just kind of lock in the day before, lock in day of, kind of just be himself and kind of zone people out. I remember being in New Orleans this year. We were, I won't, disclose it, but we were by the team hotel, staying, at the team hotel pretty much. So we got to see players kind of close and personal. Won't share what hotel that is, but Co was the first player out there for the team bus. And, he did his own thing. He bolted down the street and he just walked by himself for a couple blocks, just on a beautiful Sunday morning, just out of nowhere, right? And you could kind of tell he was soaking it all in, doing his own thing. First one out there. I think Tom Moore was out there too, Coach Moore. So,
hard. Isn't he great? I love that.
Hard to beat him, man. It's hard to beat him
him.
out, but if
Love
somebody
him.
did it, it was Co. So just fun stuff, Jerry. Just a guy dedicated to his craft.
Yeah, he zones in. That's what he does, right? Like, and I think most of them do. They all do it in a different way. That just happens to be Co's way, right? And he puts on some hard rock and roll, and this is where I'm going. My job is to kick somebody's ass. That's who he is. So
Right.
Love that mentality.
That's why we love him. Yeah.
True Groot and grinder. And real quick, I was at that KC game. It was wet. It was rainy. We actually double decked it because it was my pop's 60th. So my brother's a Colts fan.
Cool.
We journeyed to Minnesota for Sunday night. We saw Colts Vikings Sunday night football. Woke up
Minnesota?
Monday. Yep, at Minnesota because we're Chicagoland.
Great stadium.
Oh, beautiful stadium.
Yeah.
And honestly, the city is a nice little city.
Yeah.
You wouldn't expect, like Minnesota, I would expect fun times, but not. It was clean. It was nice. So, the state itself was a very nice. My first time in Minnesota, I enjoyed it. But we flew out there Saturday, saw Colts Vikings Sunday night, then flew out to Kansas City Monday, and that was a lot of fun. Kind of double decking the.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was fun, but it was wet, rainy. Did you have, obviously not your first rodeo at a football game, but does it impact you, the wet, the rain, the cold at all, or are you used to it?
Yeah, just so you know, Zach knows this, but I had open heart surgery in September. So I didn't get to any games until that game, and I don't even remember what the date was on that game. Monday, but was it
November 3rd or 4th or something?
That was my first game for that season to come to, and that's Zach was there as well. That we hooked up, but we got tickets from Co. Which thank you, Co. He always blesses me with a couple tickets. But my tickets were on like the 30-yard line, opposite of the home side. So we're on the
Taylor Swift side.
Yeah. My wife got a picture of her across the way. But dudes, I was on the top row.
It was cold up there, wasn't it?
And I had to climb up there and sit in the rain. And it's like, Cole, I love you, but dang, can't you do better than this?
That's funny. Wow.
And he was worried, he was worried about me. And, I mean, my kid loves the crap out of me and I love him. Like we'll both say we're best friends for sure.
It's awesome.
But yeah, just being up. I mean, it's a cool environment. It was fun. I thought we were going to win the game. I really did.
We all did.
Yeah.
Dang it. Right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, talking about milkman. That's who Baker was throwing to that game, right? A couple of milkmen and a FedEx driver, and we we should have won the damn game.
Yeah.
Freaking Marquez Callaway had nothing against Big Marquez, but when he's running routes out there, things are getting a little tough out there. But the Bucs break, I think we all felt like Baker in overtime when we saw the fate of the coin toss, right?
I didn't get to see his face. I didn't get to see his face, right? Because we're there live. What he looked like, you see it after the fact of his face going, "Oh shit."
Yep.
But when you give Kansas City the ball, that's tough. And nothing against our defense because I love our defense. I'm not going to complain about our defense because I think we're good, and I think hopefully this year we're better than last year. But it was just like you watched Kansas City just march down the field like they were calm, cool, and collected.
Yep.
And you got to give Reed a lot of compliments for that because that's just what they were. I mean, you got to give kudos are due. And they just marched down the field. Yeah.
A lot of offenses just tore us apart in those, dink and dunk drives, long sustained, like Washington in that playoff game, man. They had the ball for 6 minutes at the end of the game. We couldn't get off the field, but we weren't getting beat big. It was just, 5, 6 yards a clip,
Yeah, that's stuff. Yeah.
Hey, here's our guy Abraham saying, Jerry, we hope the Bucs re-sign Co after the season and his rookie contract expires. We love him in Tampa. He is Bucs. He is the man. So
I appreciate that, sir. Thank you very much for that compliment. Of course, I don't want to see him going anywhere else. I don't think he wants to go anywhere else. I think he's prepared for it, but I think he loves the culture, loves the team, loves the people on the team, loves his role. If he can keep grinding the way he is, he would gladly stay in Tampa Bay. And
that's the hard part about being a player. I think you mentioned it earlier, Jerry. It's, you have to be prepared for everything in the NFL, the National Football League. It's like, you may figure it. Look, Tom Brady even changed teams. Bill Belichick he's doing Bill Belichick things right now. So, you got a lot of crazy stuff that happens in the world of football that changes in the blink of an eye. So hey, they might extend him for years to come. So you never
Don't
know.
know.
You just never
Don't
know.
you don't know, and I think he's got a great role. I think he's respected in the locker room for who he is and what he does. I think people enjoy him. NFL stands for not for long, so you don't know. Grateful for him to be, going into his fourth year, end of his contract year. Um, I do believe that this is a dad speaking, but I do believe if the Bucs don't re-sign him, I think he's got another chance for other teams that are out there. But I
Oh,
know his
as I
heart. I
said
know his heart.
earlier, he'll never
Right.
not have a role. He'll never not have a
Right.
role in the NFL.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Well,
his heart
he
is to be where
definitely,
he's at. He loves it.
yeah, he's
Go ahead,
definitely
Zach.
a Jason Light guy. He's definitely a Jason Light guy, kind of guy.
Mhm.
He's and we know Jason's very loyal to the players that he drafts. So I mean, Coe's
Which,
had a successful role his entire
yeah,
time in Tampa, and
yeah.
I can't see them not bringing him back.
So unique though in the NFL who
Very,
Jason is, and again, I'll go back to his culture. Um, Jason does it right, but he's loyal, and you
yeah,
don't hear that in the NFL. You
right,
don't see that. You don't see that because what's the new and best flavor of the
right,
day? I'm gonna go get that. Jason's true to his guys. Now again, you
absolutely,
got to play your role right. You
right.
still got to do everything correctly, right? I mean, you still got a job to do. And that's just kind of where it's at. So yeah, who knows? I don't know. I don't know what tomorrow brings, guys. Like
Right,
shit, none of us do, right? Like
right.
Mm-mm.
Well, it's a good sign they didn't bring any tight ends in the
yeah,
draft.
yeah,
So, I mean,
yeah.
that's always a good thing that they're satisfied.
But even so, right? Like Coach's first year, they brought in Rudolph, and yeah,
Yeah,
Cam Brayton Rudolph, and I'm like, holy shit, how's this gonna go?
right.
But again, character guys like Kyle
Yeah,
Rudolph, Cole and Kyle talk a lot. Even today. For a veteran like he was, an All Pro that he is, he took Cole underneath his wings, and even Tom Brady. Like Tom's hard on people, and I think he yelled at Cole quite a bit, but still loved Cole, right? Like just good people. Like
yeah,
Brotherhood, it's one of those things where tough love sometimes, right? You
yeah,
gotta be
yeah,
on, you gotta be on him, and that's a guy like Brady, a guy like MJ. They're just built a little different. And Co's the type where I firmly believe he could handle all that good stuff, right? You look at some guys and you go, that guy will crumble like a cookie, man. You look at Co and it goes, he's built different, man. This guy is built different. So, Jerry, I
I,
guess my kind of well, go ahead.
yeah. I hate to tell you this, but he got his ass chewed a lot when he was at home, so he kind of knows what that is.
You were just
Tough
you were
love,
just
man.
preparing him for Tom Brady. You didn't even know, but you were just
You
getting him
had no
ready for
clue.
Brady. Yeah,
Little did you know, Jason Light was telling you to do that
yeah,
for
that's
years
Brady
to
Yeah,
prep.
come.
right.
Yeah, he had
Yeah,
17 years of Brady prep. So
yeah, yeah,
good on
yeah,
you.
for sure. Yeah, for sure.
Jerry, if there's one thing you look forward to in 2020, 2025, 2026 season upcoming here for the Bucs or for Co, what would
Yeah.
you say is the one thing that you look forward to the most?
What do you think, Zach?
Him making the team and a Super Bowl.
Super Bowl, man.
You don't
We
care
know
about
he's making the team. That ain't even a
yeah,
question.
We're not
So,
even asking that question today. I
yeah,
think
exactly.
I think he's got his role. I think he's gonna perform the way he needs. Fourth OC in four
yeah,
years.
right.
That's tough. That's
It
tough,
is.
guys. And nobody understands that either. Like, that's grueling. But I think Grizz is a great guy. I'm excited for him. I'm excited for what he can bring to the team. Um, and again, if Code doesn't make it, which I don't know. I'm a dad.
No, he will.
I
He
think I
will.
Yeah.
think he will,
What?
but
Yeah.
I want a Super Bowl. I really do. I think they're putting the pieces together, and I don't know. I think we can
It
do it.
smells like it.
We're gonna lose some games here and there, but I think hopefully we stay healthy and we grind it out towards the end of the season like we have in the last 4 years.
Hmm.
We're gonna do what we need to do. I
Yeah.
think it's done. So
Well,
that's my hope.
That's the brand of football that we play, right? We're gritty and grimy.
Yeah.
I mean, how many games did we actually blow out last year? It wasn't,
Yeah.
I wish there were more Bucks by 30s game instead of Bucks by two when we got to hope that field goal makes it or misses at the end of the game, right?
Right.
So,
Yeah.
and
But
that's why,
just shout out Baker Mayfield, right?
absolutely.
I mean,
Absolutely.
That's the grit.
Yeah.
That's the grit everybody wants.
Stud, just pure stud at Baker Mayfield.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Natural talent, but he's just a grinder. Like the dude's just gonna go. I'm gonna win this game. I'm gonna go do
Right.
it. And maybe
Man,
sometimes too much,
Yeah.
but that's who he is. So
How many times you seen him put his shoulder down and just say, "I'm getting this first down," no matter what,
Get your
no matter
weight up.
who's
Yeah.
in front of me. It don't matter. I'm getting that first down.
But I can name so many of those guys on that team, that I know personally, that are all like that, right?
Right.
Like, I mean, I don't want to start because you're not going to end. I don't know them all either, but they're grinders.
Right.
Like, I'm just going to go in here and kick butt, and
Right.
I mean, I don't know. The people I love on the teams like Vita Vea, right? Like, such a good guy,
Yeah.
but I don't want to cross him.
Hey,
I
and
don't wanna
now we got big Desmond Watson too in the fold. The big man out of Florida, getting labeled the tush push Terminator.
Yeah.
So speaking of losing weight in that Florida heat, he's already down like 60, 30, 40, 50 pounds or saying,
But the dude grew up in Florida, so how
Yeah,
did
he did. You ain't lying there. Well, maybe Tampa's like we'll give him that. Tampa's like a 2-degree increase, we'll just say. From where
We'll give it to him.
We'll give it to Big Des.
We'll give
But
it to him. Yeah.
I do love this Bucks team. There's not really I know people call me a homer for it. People say you love the Bucks. Well, yeah, that's my team, I mean, it's really hard for me to hate a Buccaneer, but through all the years, through 30 years of Bucks fandom rooting for the Bucks, honestly, not many guys to root for harder than Kieft because he gives it his all, man. I
Thank
mean,
you.
the
Thank
Bucks
you.
are a team that back in the day, not in the Jason Light era, but pre-Jason Light, had plenty of prima donnas, had plenty of, even we had a guy walk off the damn field a couple of years back. But at days end, Kieft is nowhere near that neck of the woods in terms of playing type player style. I was at a preseason game in Indianapolis. Right after the game, you see single out a fellow redhead kid in the stands, give him his gloves and dap him up, and he walk right in. That's just the guy who is. He's always looking out, always looking out. So
Yeah,
it's just an honor to have.
he's also very cautious with the public, which I admire about him because he's humble, right? Like I'm not the superstar, so I stay in the background.
Yeah.
He doesn't do a lot of podcasts. He doesn't talk to a lot of media. And he knows his role, Like, I'm not that guy, and what he is and what he does, he's great at, and that's what's fun, and I think that's a lot of the Bucs players today. It's not just him.
Yeah. Well,
I've been with the organization for 3 years now. Watched these players, know the players, know the families, and you guys have no idea what you got. To be honest with you, as fans, it's really incredible what Jason put together.
yeah.
That is a blessing, Zach. Ain't that right?
Absolutely. Well, Jerry, he may not think he's that guy, but he's definitely our guy. We're huge fans. We're definitely a Kieft podcast here.
Thank you.
We love what he brings to the field and appreciate the level of work he does, and that's what makes him a fan favorite. He understands nothing's given and everything's earned, and that's because you instilled that into him when he was running around with that garbage can on his head.
Gonna keep bringing that up for that poor kid. He's gonna live that one down ever.
Hey, I'll bring a sign to the games this year saying, "Let's go, garbage can kid 41. Let's go, baby."
Oh goodness.
Hey, I got the.
He's either going to love that or hate it. So
Yeah, maybe I won't do it. I want him to like me.
He just deals with it. He just deals with it.
I don't want to run into on his bad side, so maybe I won't make that. And I want to stay on his good side. He doesn't know me, and I'll keep it like that, right? I don't need him be. Who the hell's this guy with the garbage can sign out here? I might not make it out of the stadium. No, I'm just kidding. But awesome stuff there. Just awesome times, and that's why I love talking with fam. You find stuff out like that the Bucs fans like to hear about that type of stuff. Other teams, it's kind of just glued and pasted and copied and pasted with fans and players. And, you had OBJ's dad making headlines in Cleveland, running Baker Mayfield out of town. You don't get that here in Tampa. We're family.
You're not going to last in Tampa if you do that. I'll guarantee you that.
No, like Bruce said, you're done. Get the hell out of here. Sometimes it goes like that,
Yeah.
So
and that's
how it
culture.
is.
That's a great culture, dudes. I mean, you own a business. You own a business. You don't let people mess with the team. It's like you're a team player or you're not, And if you're not, you're out. That's culture, and I love that about Jason.
Absolutely.
And Bulls exemplifies that too as well, I think.
And that's why I think Bowles gets a bad rap sometimes by fans. Never here. We love Bowles. We credit him all the time. But you guys got to remember, as Jerry brought up earlier too, how hard is it for not only defensive-minded coaches to survive in modern-day NFL, but at the same time, he's on like offensive. He went from Byron Leftwich, and then Dave Canales gets a head coach. And oh, here comes Liam Cohen. He's in Jacksonville. Next thing you know, it's a very right thing to do to promote within with Grizzard, but we're looking at a never-ending story here. And the way that Todd Bowles adapts, and he's a 100% defensive-minded guy. But Jerry, I think as a father, that has to bode pretty well with you. That although it's a defensive coach, you're in good hands being tight end.
I'm a high school football coach. Run the ball, keep the clock in your hands, have a good defense, and stop people. And you will win games. And I think that's what they're trying to do, and that's what they're going to do. But back to Bulls and just who he is as well with Jason. They do it right. I don't know other NFL teams, but I've talked to parents that have kids on other NFL teams. Like coming up here in June, Co does a day with the pros is called. In our little Northwest Iowa, we have 6 pros right now on teams, and they all get together to put on this little camp. And there's over 600 kids that come to the camp.
Wow.
And so you talk to these other pros that are on different teams, and you don't hear stories like we hear in Tampa Bay. You just don't. So that's why I'm saying to fans, you got to get what Todd Bowles brings and what Jason Light brings. Is a good culture. Really, really good culture.
Absolutely. And you can tell that most Bucs fans don't feel that way. Well, at least the ones on social media. If you just read a few of the Twitter posts, man, that's
easy. That's easy to put out because nobody sees my face, right? So screw them all.
Yeah,
exactly. Haters.
Yeah. Well, and it's hard for you guys too, right? I mean, in your line of work, like you got to find what we don't like either, right? So I know Code gets bashed by a lot of podcasters, and Baker gets shot down by podcasters, and it's part of the game, so you got to deal with that in life. But all reality says we got a really good team, and we got good.
We do, and we not only have a good team on the field, but a better team off the field, and that's what I think is so impressive with the group that Jason Light has crafted, and that's why I think they're so easy to root for. And as podcasters, I try and stay away from the bashing and stuff because it's these guys' livelihood and job. Obviously there's a time and place for everything. I'm not going to say everybody gets a free car, but at days end, I'm not going to. Oh my God, did you see that drop in the last game? Even when people were calling for Sterling Shepard's head last year after a couple tough drops, I'm like, well, look at the big play he did make. Sometimes you got to look at the glass half full approach. These guys are. Yeah, I know they make a lot of money, but that's not the point. It's their job, their livelihood. You think they like to screw up? No.
Yeah, no.
Why the hell would they like that? So
I say all the time, it's a good thing we don't have fans where we work that are criticizing our every move while we're at our jobs.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, a lot of people ask me that. So what's Co thinking about? And I go, Co doesn't tell me much about football. I mean, honestly, he did. How was your day today? How was work? We call it work, right? It's work for him. It was good.
well, elaborate on that. He's like, you're going to elaborate on your work?
Yeah.
No, probably not.
Hey,
Today.
before
So
we
yeah,
let
that's yeah.
before we let Zach close the fort down with some good, I want to ask you a fun one. Has anyone in front of you, or maybe not in front of you, but does Co ever get confused for Cody Malk? Because I know
all the time.
when Ryan Johnson was here, it was same type of thing. It's tough
Yeah,
sometimes, so I could imagine that. But have you ever witnessed it?
all the time. Yeah, yeah. After games, when we walk out with Co, we get family time with the players and other families after the game at home. And then we usually drive home with Co. So you walk through, where the fence is, where all they
Mhm.
park. Then fans are standing there screaming, hey, sign this, hey, sign this. You'll get a, hey, Cody, sign this. And he'll just look at him. I'm not Cody. I got, and his line is always, I got teeth.
That's
And
awesome,
and
bro.
and
That's
Cody
so awesome.
Cody will say the same thing. Cody says a lot of people will say, "Hey, Co," right? And he's like, "No, I don't have teeth." you know. So they played the game a little bit with each other. They're good friends. They're really good friends. They're Midwest boys. And
It's
Co's
awesome.
actually Co's coming home after the season to go to his wedding. And
Oh,
going up to Fargo. So yeah,
nice.
they're good. Like I said, all them guys are pretty good friends together. So
Yeah.
That's a rare thing with the Bucks. You always see or hear about, Baker. Oh, people asking him about Liam Cohen. Oh, I was in the Bahamas with the O line. That's unusual. So you don't really see that a lot of other football teams. I could name 10 franchises. Cleveland, Chicago. You just don't see that camaraderie in these places.
oh, these guys gel. These guys gel.
That's
And
awesome.
Zach,
yeah,
Zach, close it down, buddy. Any words from you, my friend?
Yeah, I'll just have a couple things here. Nothing too heavy. So we all know what Co does on the field. We talked a lot about him on the field and football stuff. But what's something that Bucks fans may not know about Co?
good question. Wants to be a weight coach, and that's what he went to school for. Um, so he wants to get in the business somewhere. I don't know what he's going to do. NFL, college, and even maybe high school. And I'd probably pick high school right now today because he can
Hmm.
influence kids. He's got a big heart. The kid loves people
Yeah,
and wants to help people in life. Um, it's pretty amazing to me how he is that way, and I think that's probably something people don't know about him. You meet him, you know it, but if you don't meet him, you don't know it. So that would be my thing about him.
yeah. Well,
Good-hearted
I will
kid.
say, I will say he doesn't fit the stereotypical football guy. You hear like the meathead aspect of it.
Yeah,
Doing a little research, I came across a video of
yeah.
him talking
Being a
about wind
meathead.
energy. No, talking
Oh,
about wind energy. A very young
yeah,
Keith had built a
yeah,
wind turbine
yeah,
and was showing you how many it would take to power a light bulb. So I
yeah.
was very impressed with the level of research that he had done, and it was unexpected, So
It would it
that
would
was pretty cool.
that would be something nobody knows. Like he's really smart, right? He's 4.0 student. Um,
Yeah.
all Big Ten academic, but he wanted to be a doctor. And when PJ Fleck came in from Tracy Clays at Minnesota, they started practice in the morning, and he had biology labs in the morning. And he went to PJ and said, "Dude, I got labs. I can't do practice." And PJ said to him, "You pick football or being a doctor. Which one you want to be?" And yeah, Coach called me up, said, "What do I do, Dad?" And I go, "I don't know. That's your choice." And he went with football. So then he had to go into kinesiology instead of biology, and that's what brought him into. And again, he's been in the weight room since he's been 12 years old. Just his life, he loves the weight room, and so that's what I think he'll be. But yeah, he's a smart kid.
And like I said, his older brother's a doctor, and his older sister's a nurse. So the medical field is where he's going to run into. But yeah, didn't get
That's a
to was the college football.
That's a fun Thanksgiving dinner conversation. You got a nurse, a doctor, an NFL player, a high school football coach right there. That's a fun family affair. You know, you got a little bit of everything.
Yeah, the greatest is his sister is a nurse. She's in a psych ward.
No, okay.
Yeah, so she says it feels like home.
Yeah. My wife is in that field as well, and
Oh, is she?
she's
Yeah.
she's a psychometrist. Yeah. Yeah, don't ask me to spell it. I don't know how to spell it.
Yeah.
She's in that field. She works with a psychologist, and she does all the testing for them.
Does all the testing for it. Yeah.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
She has way better work stories than I do.
Oh, I'm sure. There's a lot of war stories that she hears every day.
Absolutely. So the last thing I'll ask you, Jerry, then we'll let you get out of here. Is there any significance to the number 41? I know a lot of players pick numbers that are sentimental, or was it just what was available?
It was what was available. He was 42 in college. He was 2 in high school, I think, if I remember correctly. I don't even know.
Yeah.
He didn't care. He didn't care about a number. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I think they were talking about 80s when he first came, and then they were like, "No, we're going to make you a fullback, more of a fullback." So they gave him the 4.
There
Which
you go.
he did great too. So I think that's
Now, if he wanted, he could wear whatever the hell he want. Not that, you know, I like that he stays traditional, though. I do. I'm an old school guy. I like the traditional numbers. You know, I like the 41 on Coke. It still doesn't feel real when you see a tight end running around and number 2 out there. It's like, hey, what's going on here?
Yeah. Usually the 80s are the tight ends, right? So
tight ends, right? Yeah.
80s and sometimes 40s. You do get tight ends that trip into the 40s. Like a Delaney Walker was 46, I want to say. Chris Cooley was 44 on the Redskins back in the day.
Yes.
Don't ask me why I know this stuff, but you know, that's the stuff that sticks in my head. So 40s are you got Dallas Clark, 44.
44. Yeah.
There you go. That's a big one. Yeah, that's a big
Iowa
one.
Iowa homegrown right there too.
You don't see it. Yeah, right. A lot of a lot of
Buccaneer
Iowa
legend. Yeah, Buccaneer legend Dallas Clark.
Oh yeah.
Because
he played here a couple seasons.
Did he?
Yeah, he played one season back in 2012, I believe. He was here the 2012 season. He made some plays. He helped us beat the Panthers. So
I think he still had injury troubles here, and it cut it short. But he's always solid.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
he's a great tight end. Yeah. Well,
so Jerry, man, I can't thank you enough for coming on and doing this and talking with the fellas a little bit. Appreciate you chopping it up and giving us some insight to the fine young gentleman that you raised. He's a good kid. We appreciate what he brings.
Hopefully he's not mad at me for doing this podcast. We'll see.
Hey, well, we'll know if we see you again.
Well, you'll know if he keeps buying you those top row seats, right? That's how we'll pay you back.
trying to kill me climb those stairs.
Right. So anything you want us where people can follow you or any of that kind of stuff, anything you want to shout out real quick?
No, I got nothing like that at all. No, I'm not that person at all. This is a very rare thing that I do. Like I said, I try to stay. I love people, but I try to stay out of this limelight. But I did it for you, Zach, man, because I love you. Appreciate you.
I love you too, man. I appreciate it.
Tones, I do listen to you. I do hit your podcast. I don't always do it live, but I listen to it afterwards. And appreciate you, man. And thanks for having me on today.
Hey Jerry, much love. Remember, at Days End, always say it ain't so, Co. Wherever the hell he's making plays at, you know, he's gonna be in the Buccaneers' hearts, that's for sure. And you know, if I'm ever at a home game and I happen to run into you, or I'd love to just buy a beer or something and catch up and talk out the fluff, brother.
Vice versa, I would love to buy you a beer, and we might just keep buying each other beers until we get a little bit fun.
Yeah, until the beer turns into Canadian whiskey, and then
There
you
you
end up
go.
where all those club. No, I'm kidding around.
No clubs. No
Yeah,
clubs, dude. No
no, I
clubs.
know. Hey, I might not make it to my wedding next summer
Yeah.
if that's the case, but hey, that is what it is. Jerry, thanks so much for your time,
Thank you.
brother. That was awesome. We loved having you.
Appreciate
And honestly, a lot of people, oh, you did this for Co. Yeah, we love to learn about Co, but we did this for Jerry. We wanted to have Jerry on, hear about an NFL dad, hear about his background, his stories, all the fun stuff. So, Jerry, it's
Thank
great
you.
it was to hear about Co, man. We loved hearing about you. And don't be a stranger, bro. I'm glad you got to see my video because I'm always like, man,
Oh,
I hope he got
treasure
to
it.
see it.
I treasure it, Tones. I my favorite, without a doubt. Like I will watch that until my last day. That was one of my favorite moments for my
Hey,
son, and you captured it so well, so well. It was great.
that
So
that
thank you.
that makes me happy, man, that I could provide that little bit of happiness. And it comes full circle because my pops took me to that game. So, father son type stuff right there. So
Quick story. Can I tell you a quick story?
absolutely.
I was a Packer fan my whole life, and Co grew up as a Packer fan.
Wow.
So when he caught his second touchdown pass from Baker Mayfield, um, at the Packers, uh, he went to the first game ever when he was 10 years old there. Second game. He did go to a Phoenix game, but second game, and he knew right where we sat, and it was in that end zone. And that was the first thing he said to me after the game. He's like, "Dad, that's where we sat when he was 10 years old."
That's awesome.
That's a surreal moment right there. Like, talk
Tears
about
in his
coming
eyes. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
full circle. Beauty of being an NFL player. And I mean, that game was awesome, man. That's when we were grooving. We hit our gel. We were really motoring then. And that
Yeah.
was an incredible touchdown. Both that Co
Yeah.
catches meaningful touchdowns.
Yeah.
His ain't no blowout touchdowns. His are meaningful. So I don't really care how many Mike Evans has. Give me the meaningful ones, all right?
Well, he caught one in Dallas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've been to two of those games for him
Yeah.
to catch those touchdowns. So
Yeah.
I wish we would have continued that on in Kansas City, but
Yeah.
I still got to see Green Bay and Dallas, so that was awesome.
It is what it is.
Like we said, he catches, he's always good to sprinkle on anytime touchdown. But
There you go. Bet on it. Bet on it, buddy.
hey, Jerry, we'll bet on you any day of the week, my friend. That's for
Appreciate it.
sure. The great Jerry
Thank you.
Kieft, thanks again for joining us, brother. Sorry for keeping you. I'll send your overtime check in the mail.
Appreciate it.
All right, Jerry, be well, my friend.
Thanks,
Love
Jerry.
you guys. Be good. All right.
you.
Thanks.
Love you
Bye-bye.
too, brother. Thank you, sir. The great Jerry Kieft. That was awesome, Zach. Thank you to you for that. And Zach, it's up to you. But before we do final word, we're gonna talk just prayers to Jim Irsay quickly. And it's just sad to see in the NFL. Think what you want about Jim Irsay. I know he's had his remedies and quirks and wild life, but Zach, at days end, football's a brotherhood, and losing a brother is always a tough one to overcome. The memories of Jim Irsay will last forever.
Absolutely passionate about his football team and about the fans, and he was a young man, 65, I believe.
Yeah, and not to be me, but that's why I picture a lot of people assumed he was older, but he lived a tough life. He battled hard addictions and demons, and just sad to see, man. My brother's a Colts fan, so it hits home. And he was a good community guy, always given to the underprivileged, the ones that might not have a great life. And talk about Zach or my memorabilia collection. This guy literally had the Declaration of Independence's original copy in his memorabilia, correct? He had the Declaration of Thanksgiving Day from 1777 in his memorabilia collection. So, J-Lo, quick thoughts on Jim Irsay?
Yeah, I mean, it was very tragic when the news came out, broke out. My condolences to his family and the Colts community in the city of Indianapolis. They lost a good one, and it's just tough. It just came out of nowhere. He tweeted earlier in the day, and then poof, all of a sudden, boom, we get notification that he passes away. So, R.I.P. Jim Irsay.
You'd have to think that Pacers win might have had something to do with him last night, as that was a crazy, crazy ending. Zach, Bucs by 30, your call if you want to tease a future show or if you just want to call it a day.
You know what? I would just say be sure to subscribe, turn those notifications on. We have another big guest coming in the next couple of weeks, so you aren't going to want to miss it if you're a Bucs fan. So, like, subscribe, turn those notifications on, and enjoy the journey with us.
Yeah, like Zach said, hit the notification bell, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. You'll never miss a show. That's on YouTube at Buccaneers Podcast. You can catch the instant replay at Spotify, Apple, Google, or so much more. And we're going to have a fun little thing. Zach's putting together a fun little fanfare. What will be the Bucs song, or what should be the Bucs song that builds momentum? We see college football. We see NFL football. Teams get pumped up to a song. The Bucs don't really have that right now. So we're going to put together, last year we did the Bear bracket. This is going to be the Beats bracket. Zach's going to man a bracket. J-Lo's going to man a bracket. I'm going to man a bracket. And then the fans are going to man a bracket, and we're kind of just going to work our way, vote on songs against each other, and whatever one comes out on top will be our podcast song, and hopefully we can get the Bucs to maybe, twist Jill Beckman's arm a little bit and say, hey, Jill, we got a song for you guys. But, Zach, that's great stuff right there, brother. Also, Anthony Gator, friend of the show, congrats to him. He has a coaching opportunity with the Jacksonville Jaguars, an internship. He reached out. He's like, I'd love to join in July. So later on this summer as well, we're going to get former Bucs corner, former CFL champion, current FIU defensive coach, Anthony Gator, in the house. Yeah, bud, think of some songs, buddy. Bud. Nothing there. J-Lo, any words for Zach's bracket or any last words, brother?
I mean, shout out, Zach. You've been an awesome, just team player in this podcast. We appreciate all the effort you've put in so far. Looking forward to chopping it out more with you, brother. And Tones, just another great show, man. Until next time, go Bucs.
Until next time, go Bucs, fire the damn cannons. Jerry Kieft, the great Jerry in the building. Thanks again, Zach, for setting that up. You were incredible, brother. We appreciate you. All the fans listening, Jerry, thank you, everybody. Have a great Thursday. We'll be back this weekend, either Saturday, Sunday, Monday. We'll figure it out. But everybody, have a great Thursday. Thanks again, Jerry. Fire the cannons. Have a good one, Zach. Game on Sunday, man. I know you're nervous for the Rams, but you got to be a little enthusiastic after being there.
Bro, that game atmosphere was ridiculous. The energy, the electricity. That place was rocking. Anyone was there, and a lot of the Super Bucs fans were there too.
Tampa Tones. We are joined by Lead Goon tonight, host of the Pat and Aaron Show of WDAE, Pat Donovan. And it sounds like Stunna is